Hey gun nuts. Well, today I wanted to come to you with a quick video series that I'm going to start. It's going to be called Surviving the Encounter. Now, what sparked me to start this series of videos was one day I had to go to godforsaken Wally World, Walmart, and it was right after the El Paso, Texas shooting, and I had my kids with me this time. And it's a different mind state being in Walmart now. So I thought about it. When I was a kid, back in the early 80s, the biggest thing I had to worry about was getting somebody at one of the checkout counters to call my mother on the loudspeaker because I had gotten lost. Nowadays, you got the mass shootings, you got kidnappings, you got all these other crazy things going on in the world. So, I came up with this series of videos because I had to actually find myself training my kids. I have a 14-year-old and a 4-year-old that were going to be accompanying me into the store, and I had to train them on what to do in case something happened. It's a damn shame, but it is the world we live in. So, disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. I am not a police officer. I am not in any way affiliated with law enforcement. I am not a judge. I am not qualified legal counsel. These things I'm going to share with you are just things that I would do in my situation if I were in a store and something happened and I needed to get my family out of that situation or myself out of that situation. Okay? So don't go around saying, oh, homeboy told me that I was supposed to do this and this is what was supposed to happen. Now, a lot of this stuff came from just stuff I thought about, just being observant as I was in the environment, and also talking to a good friend of mine who is in law enforcement. And again, because this was an unofficial conversation, I'm not going to divulge his name or any of that information, but just me asking him, me being concerned about my kids, what should I do? All right. So the very first thing that I want to bring up with this is, remember that there's no textbook solution to this. There's no, if this happens, then do this. Okay? So let's kick it. All right. So one of the first things that you want to do is to know your environment before you enter the store, or wherever scenario it is, a school, a store, a church. That really sucks that they're willing to shoot up a church, but just know your environment. Know where the places that you could get to exit the building, where you could get to find yourself cover or safety. Always seek professional training with a firearm, whether it be your concealed weapons training, your basic pistol classes, or whatever have you. Find some training. And remember that training is a perishable skill, meaning if you don't use it, you lose it. So always keep your mind sharp with your training, review your notes of what you trained on, and try to stay in that mind state of your training. Be prepared to be treated as the active shooter if you happen to shoot the shooter. So I asked my friend, I was like, in case a scenario where I run up around a corner or something and the shooter is there, what should I do if I could engage the shooter and take him down? He told me to be prepared to be arrested. Be prepared to be treated as though I'm the shooter. And another thing I worry about is with other gun nuts who are armed in the location, what if they think, after I've shot the shooter, that I am the shooter? So that's something else to keep in mind. Now, in a store scenario like a Walmart, remember the interior of a Walmart is like a box. So you have all the shopping area and everything. And then on the outskirts of that box, you have their shipping and receiving areas, their stocking and storage areas. Those are going to be great places for you to be able to find shelter if you can hear in the store where the shots are coming from. Now remember, these shooters' main goal is a high body count and then ultimately to get themselves taken out. So you want to make sure that you can eliminate yourself and your family from being a part of that body count. So head to those stocking areas. Head to like the deli counters and the cake counters, and get down and get low. If you're in the open part of the store, get down, get low, bring your kids up under you, and get them low and get them down. If you do happen to have to engage the shooter and you've taken him out, make sure that you unload your weapon, put it down, and put your hands up in plain view. So when law enforcement comes in, because remember, they're coming into a scenario where they don't know what's going on, and they see you there with a firearm, you know how that's going to play out. So get yourself down, be prepared to be questioned. Please ask for legal counsel. Okay? Remember, the active shooter, like I said, is about numbers. So you definitely want to put yourself into a situation where you're not available for the shooter. If you can hear the sound of where the shots are coming from, if you can see the shooter, try to safely get a good description of the shooter, just in case it's one of those scenarios where the shooter makes it out of the building. You want to be able to identify clothing. You want to be able to identify, just natural features, color, facial hair, hairstyle, clothing, also shoes. I got this from watching Chicago PD. I like that show. But when police are looking at suspects, they do identify shoes, because shoes are much harder to ditch. In case of the active shooter runs out of the store and he tries to get rid of his clothing or something, it's harder to get rid of his shoes. So make sure you make note of that, so you can make sure that this guy is caught and he is brought to justice, or better. You know what I mean? And also, most of the time, if you're going to have to engage the shooter, don't try to be all the way down the store and the shooter's all the way at the other end, and you decide you want to pull out and try to take this guy out. Typically, a gunfight is going to happen between 8 feet and less. So if you're all the way down there and this guy's all the way down here, and you take shots and you happen to miss this guy, now you've caught you fired your firearm and you probably hit somebody else who's an innocent bystander trying to get out of the situation. So you definitely want to make sure that you don't try to engage the shooter unnecessarily. Like I said, these are all things that I hope can help save your life and get you out of the scenario safely. Just be aware of your surrounding. Before you enter a store or have been in that store or whatever before, think about, what if something happens, how can I get my family or myself safely out of this scenario? Again, cover your kids, get them low. If you can't happen to find somewhere to get out of the building or get to a safer area of the building, get down, get low, and cover your kids. Okay? Again, gun nuts, I hope this is something that helps you. This is a scary world we live in. It's even scarier with people who are supposed to be our political representatives trying to take away our ability to defend ourselves. But you got to keep fighting for your rights. Make sure that you are staying legal, staying trained, and getting all the good information you can out there. Also, if you can, see if you can find a police officer or somebody that you know that's in law enforcement and ask them for yourself. What would you do? Also, gun nuts, if you guys have been in a situation or you are law enforcement and you watch my channel, give us some hints or some clues, if you can, in an unofficial capacity, and let us know some things that we can do as civilians to protect ourselves in the event of a mass shooter. Okay? Again, gun nuts, thank you so much for your time. Please like, share, subscribe. Please comment. Hit that notification bell. Hit that thumbs up. All right? And always make sure you pursue your dreams. Don't think about them. Go get them. All right? God bless you guys. Happy shooting.